Have mercy on us. Lamb of God, you take. Welcome everybody to live Q&A. This is Pastor and the Recovering Heretic. I am Pastor Dave.
I am Recovering Heretic Dan. You need more oomph and energy.
I know.
Into that delivery.
Well, I spent it all in the first one. All right. So, hi, Dan.
Hi, Dave.
What are we doing today?
Today, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, our theme is Saints Preserve Us.
Okay.
And so we're going to just talk about saints, right?
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yep.
It is perhaps one of the biggest unofficial holidays, definitely in the U.S., and seems like it's spreading across the world.
Yes, it is a, yes.
Another excuse to party.
Right. Well, you know,
So.
yes. Yeah.
And so I thought, well, let's kind of get back to what is a saint thing anyway.
Yep.
So let's start with the very basics. So here's St. Patrick. What does that mean that he was a saint? Why that title, Saint Patrick?
Why that tights it? So traditionally, all right. So we'll start with Lutheran theology.
Oh, you have to bring theology in.
I know. Yeah. According to Lutheran doctrine, we are simultaneously saint and sinner at the same time. Mm-hmm. We are both. So all of us are saints, right? By virtue of your baptism, we are all saints. You know, and so.
So what does that mean to be a saint, as opposed to just a baptized person?
Well, it's another way of saying you're holy, right? You're made holy by your baptism.
Could you tell my wife that?
You are made holy. You are holy, Dan.
Tell Renee.
I will. I don't have to convince her. Just show her your baptism form. You know. And so you're made holy by your baptism. You're, you know, and so you'll read. You know, Paul will start. You know, greetings to all the saints gathered in X city. You know, Paul will begin his letters that way.
Yeah.
The Psalms will even talk about the congregation of the saints. You know, and they mean the kind of congregation of the people. So it's the people of God who have been made holy
Are all saints.
are all saints.
So how does that contrast with, say, the Church of Latter-day Saints?
Well, so all they're saying, right, is that they are the church of present, latter day is like present day. So the church of current saints, right?
Okay.
You know, that's all they're, so again, it's a way of saying God's people, you know, God's people gathered now is what they're trying to say there. So then you get people who the church, through a process that is part bureaucratic, part tradition, part just kind of happens. Well, okay. The next one is then the 12 apostles and those in the New Testament church are saints, right? So we got St. Paul, St. Luke,
Yeah.
you know.
And those seem to be saints with a capital S.
Yeah, that's saints with a capital S, right? Because they are apostolic, right? They're connected to the apostolic authority, right? St. Mary, St. yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You know. So we have that category of people, you know. And Lutherans will call it, right, you know, you'll see St. John Lutheran Church, you know, that kind of stuff, right? And so we've got that category, and then from there it gets a little wobbly. There's a category, kind of following from there, there's a category of people who either by their actions or their martyrdom and through a long process of the church get classified as a capital S saint.
Okay.
So Patrick's one of these people, right? Through his actions, missionary to Ireland, yada, 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 he gets classified as a saint, you know, and there are various stories, some apocryphal, some legendary, some probably nonsense, you know, some true, that then, you know, that go along with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what? Let's focus on the Patrick style saint first.
Yeah.
In honor of his day. what qualifies you? What actions qualify you to be a saint? Like,
Yeah.
Luther's very big on grace and grace alone. Right? But then you turn
Right.
around and you get to be a saint with a capital S by certain actions that you take.
Right. And
What are those? What like if I wanted to be a saint, that was my lifelong ambition.
Right.
What behavior modifications would I make?
What behavior sell all you have and give to the poor. Jesus says. There's no like defined list of you have to do these actions and therefore you're a saint, other than martyrdom. If you are martyred,
That's like automatic.
You are declared a saint. Done. Martyrdom's officially a saint.
Yeah.
So yeah. If martyrdom is officially, do you want me to?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Okay.
Thank you. Could you pray for me?
I'll
Thank
absolutely
you.
do that.
I read the book.
Yep. So martyrdom is like automatic sainthood, and in fact, the Catholic Church keeps the official roll of the martyrs.
So there's an official list.
They actually the Catholic Church keeps an official list of
Okay.
those enrolled in the official list of martyrs.
So why martyrdom? Because it also seems like in the early days of the church, all those non-apostolic early martyrs or
Yeah.
early saints were martyrs.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, martyrdom is Jesus says it, right? Blessed are you when they, curse you, revile you, all on account of my name. Your reward will be great in heaven, right? Martyrdom is like the ultimate expression of, it is the ultimate blessing and the ultimate call to conform both your life and your death to the pattern of Jesus Christ, right? And so blessed is the one who is called, to such a thing. The most recent kind of official enrolldom on the martyrdom list was they classified Oscar Romero as a martyrdom. He was archbishop in
El Salvador.
El Salvador, and he was shot while saying mass. And then the other one was the people ISIS took. ISIS took a group of captives and executed them on television for being Christian. And that's they were the most recent ones, I think. So martyrdom that's the only action, and you're not supposed, the one thing you're not supposed to do with martyrdom is like go out and seek it out. You're not supposed to run around with a sign that says, please martyr me.
Yeah.
And
Or by the same token, you can't be a terrorist for Christianity.
yeah,
That's not
right.
martyrdom either. then.
Yeah, right. Like you just, that's a no, that's bad form. So we don't do that, but if it comes, it comes. And then the other one is there's no official list of people who just acted in their life, a certain way. And it doesn't mean they're perfect, right? I mean, you can go back and, read about certain saints, I've got a few hanging on my wall, but most of them have flaws somewhere in there, right? And so it doesn't mean you're perfect, but it does mean you've lived your life in an extraordinary way, patterned after the holiness of Jesus Christ. Does that make sense?
It does.
So,
It does.
and then before the church split, we kind of keep a unified list before the Reformation, right? That we all kind of acknowledge, and then post that, it starts to diverge quite a bit. Not always, but does start to diverge. And then the Catholic Church has a formal process that you have to go through, that people go through to be saints, right? There are a series of, you have to do there have to be 2 miracles verified in your name,
And do the miracles have to be posthumous, or can they be miracles you did while
posthumous,
alive?
yeah, posthumous miracles. Like somebody prayed to God through this saint, and a miracle happened.
That
you know.
raises the bar significantly.
It does. So it's usually a long process. There used to be a mandatory 50-year moratorium. Like you literally could not be sainted until 50 years after your death. That used to be. They got rid of that rule for John Paul II, and I think it's been bad ever since.
Yeah, I was going to say that one struck me as like, politics.
Right. They got rid of it for John Paul II, and I didn't really appreciate that, and I think that was bad to get rid of that rule. But either way, it usually takes quite a while, and they have different level. You're blessed for a while, venerable. Eventually, Pope does this big ceremony where you're declared a saint.
Well, what about someone like Padre Pio, who purportedly had miraculous things around him a boatload while he was alive, like a whirling dervish, when he really got into a state of ecstasy over Christianity.
Yeah.
He could fly, and purportedly lots of witnesses saw him. Doing that. Does someone like Padre Pio have to wait and go through all that formal process? And in his case, with miracles happening while he's alive, does he also still have to have two after he's dead?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's a tough process in the Catholic Church. I mean, it takes a while, again, Oscar Romero is one of the more recent ones, but, he was shot in the 80s, right? It's been 40 years, 30, 40 years, right? And so, it's a long process in the Catholic Church. And we get the phrase devil's advocate from, there's a person whose job it is to always argue against the sainthood, of a candidate, right? Yeah. So the most famous one was supposedly Christopher Hitchens, the renowned atheist, was the devil's advocate against Mother Teresa's sainthood.
So they'll actually
They'll pull in somebody
from outside the church.
Inside or outside, but somebody will be pulled in to argue against the case.
Wow.
And that, again, it's a very Catholic bureaucratic, formal process. So.
But that is the term for them, is the devil's advocate.
Yep. Well, that's the old. I don't know what they're called anymore. I don't think they probably don't use that term anymore. But that was the old term. The advocatus diaboli, the devil's advocate.
Wow. That alone is fascinating. The other factor, then, let's get into that difference. You started saying there were differences in how, Lutheran and Rome view saints and the processes. Before we get to that, is there a difference between an Orthodox Christian saint and a Roman Christian saint?
They keep their own. We all have our own. The main difference is every church has what the liturgical churches all have what they call the calendar of saints. And so every church is. Well, the main difference is in the calendar. Who falls when. There are certain unified days, but after that, we all kind of have our own. Like Reformation Day, right, is on our calendar. Martin Luther's birthday is on our calendar. Catholic Church does not give one whit about Martin Luther's birthday, right?
Yeah.
We have on our calendar, it's called the presentation of the Augsburg Confession. Again, Catholics do not like this day, right? So
the dark day on their calendar.
Right, dark day on their calendar, right? So, that's the main difference. So the Orthodox Church and different branches of Orthodoxy have different calendars, and it's just you'll find a different list,
Okay. Is there anything more substantial then, theologically, is a difference between Lutheran or Protestantism in general versus the Roman or Orthodox churches and how they view saints? In Catholicism, a saint is venerated. You can pray to a saint for intercession. Is that true with Lutherans as well?
You could. Luther would probably say it's fine if it helps you, but you could just go straight to the source. So in Catholicism, this often gets mixed up in Protestants and Lutherans especially often get this mixed up. So in Catholicism, they have a very the line between death and life is much more permeable than kind of Protestants typically think of it, and so the church is the church, both living and dead, future, past, and present, and so in Catholic thought, you can pray to God, you can ask for the prayers of a saint, who has already died, right? That is not praying to a saint, that is asking Saint Francis or Mary, Mother of God, pray for me, is kind of how they think about it. And they don't think it's any different than when we have people on the prayer chain list. It's like God's divine prayer chain list, basically.
So it's more of a do me a solid.
Do me a solid, pray for me, kind of thing, right? So that's how they think about it officially. Luther would say, again, you could do that if you maintain, as long as you're maintaining strictly, it's asking for prayers, it's not praying to, But again, Luther would kind of say, but you don't need to. And don't think, don't kind of look at it and go, oh, well, Mary's Jesus' mom, so if I ask Jesus' mom for prayers, she has better luck because she can guilt him into helping me. Don't think it gets more powerful because you asked for the saint's intercession. That's silly, would say Luther. And furthermore, it kind of undermines the gospel, right?
Although, having an Italian mother, I do not ever underestimate the power of guilt. Even at that level.
I don't underestimate the power of guilt even at that level yet.
Look at the wedding.
I know, right? It's true.
Mom, leave me alone.
Right.
No, you do this, son.
But Luther would say, well, like our Hebrews reading today said, right? We have a great high priest, right? We can go straight to the source. Jesus is already the one interceding for us on behalf of the Father. We don't need
extra credit.
We don't need more, So that's a big theological difference. In Luther's day, there was also a sense in which these people were holier than you. This is where Lutherans won the argument. This is not how people are supposed to think about it in Catholicism today. But in Luther's day, there was this sense of these people they actually had a ladder. They had this picture of a ladder going up to heaven, and they were literally higher than you. On that ladder, and so they were holier than you. And that also Luther was just like, no, that's nonsense, and so even with we have a calendar of saints. It's right on the opening page of our hymnals. If you ever want to look at it, it tells you. Those in Bible study know I reference it all the time, right? I'm like, oh, this day is the day we commemorate X, but don't think these people are holier than you. We commemorate them because we say they are a good example. May by their witness, may we be motivated to live like them, act like them, die like them. But we don't think they're holier than us, right? So that's the general difference.
Gist of that.
Yeah.
What's getting into human anthropology, psychology? There seem to be patron saints for everything under the sun.
Yep.
In popular practice, have saints basically just replaced the old pantheon of gods? They had a god for wind, and a god for love, and whatever.
Yeah.
And now we have, Saint Valentine's as a patron saint of love, and I don't know, Saint Patrick, patron saint of snake bites or whatever. But
right? Yeah.
Do we have? Has that filled that psychological function? Is that why we see saints differently too?
I would say there's a difference in that they're not usually patron saints of forces. I don't even think Saint Valentine is the patron saint of love. Usually they're patron saints of far more specific thing. Saint Anthony is the patron saint of lost causes, right? It's not that he's that kind of stuff, right? And so it's not.
He's also the patron saint of radio broadcasters,
right? And so, but that's different than God of the air, right? There's not that sense of things, So I do think there's a qualitative difference there. I also think there's a qualitative difference between like praying to and asking for prayers, right? You know, there's still there's a qualitative difference there. I mean, was it probably helpful for mapping early paganism onto Christianity, like for some people? Like probably, conceptually, you know, like, and I don't think that's a problem, you know, as C.S. Lewis says, like Christianity is the myth made real, you know, so it's not that everything about those older religions is completely wrong, it's just let me tell you the actual thing here instead of your kind of through a mirror darkly vision of it, you know, and so
Christianity is the city of amber.
Right, yeah, no, that's a great analogy, actually. Right, so Christianity is the city of amber and it casts its own alternate realities around it, you know, and so I don't think it's a problem to say it helped, and it still helps when people do missionary work to pagans. It helps them map on, you know, everything about their previous lives onto this new way of being.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Steve points out another aspect of the secular versus theologic, in that we say St. Patrick's Day, but we don't commonly say St. Valentine's Day. It's just Valentine's Day.
Right, it's Valentine's Day. And, you know, I mean, right. And like some of these are more, you know, like St. Valentine, it's not quite sure whether he was a real guy. You know, some of these saints are more historically verifiable than others, right?
Yeah, and aren't there like possibly 3 different Valentines?
Right, and it's a little, you know, and even if the actual story is true, right, what it has to do with romantic love is kind of weird, you know. I mean, it's the guy who was beaten, you know.
Yeah.
like beaten then crucified, I think, you know, like.
Doesn't send a good message about romantic
love.
About
romantic love, right? Like, you know. And,
it's going to kill you.
Right, it's going to kill you. Or, you know, St. Patrick's Day is a drinking day, right?
Yeah.
You know, why? The story has really nothing to do with that, but it is, you know. So, you know, for all those reasons, you know.
It just morphs as it will.
Yeah.
Renee wants to know, what is the role for saints in the Lutheran faith? It's always been very confusing to her.
Well, again, they are patterns for your living, right? Like your witness, your, you know, for how you live out your Christian life. You know, we're given these people so that they may be witnesses that our living out of this life may be strengthened, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, you learn about them and then learn, you know, and find some that are going to help you in your living out of your, you know, your call, right? You know, so on my wall sits, there's St. Moses the Ethiopian, right? You know, and Moses' story is that he was literally a bandit. This big, like 6'5" guy, you know, and he was a bandit, and the police were basically chasing him, and he ran into a monastery to hide. He hid in the monastery so long he became a monk.
Oh, wow.
You know, but then the rest of his life was until his death when bandits came to attack the monastery, you know, years later. But the rest of his life was him trying to renounce, you know, his violence that was in him, you know, and living that out kind of day in and day out and trying to give up violence, right? You know, so I like that. I like that as a, you know, I am this thing, but help me to be something other than I am, you know.
Did he ever fully succeed, or was it an eternal quest for him?
It was kind of an eternal struggle, you know, but he was pretty good at it by the end of his life, you know. So, you know, and that's kind of why I like him, right? You know.
So what other saints do you have icons for, and why?
So John Chrysostom, St. John Chrysostom sits on my wall. John is the greatest preacher in Christian history. So it's kind of like, if I'm stuck on a sermon, I'll be like, okay, Johnny boy, help me out here.
Is he the one who wrote what you say is the most
Yeah,
perfect?
he wrote the Paschal Homily, which is the perfect Easter sermon. He writes a lot of other stuff too. And he's a good example of, these guys aren't perfect, right? And so John's a saint. I think he's the best preacher in Christian history. I'll also be honest. He's an anti-Semite, or what we would call an anti-Semite today, right? Like, he's, you'll read that, right? Like, these guys are, again, they're not perfect, The other one is Ambrose. Ambrose of Milan sits on my wall. Ambrose was the greatest bishop in Christian history.
Why? What made him the...
He's Bishop of Milan. He's the guy who gets Emperor Theodosius to repent. Theodosius famously unleashed the imperial guard on a rioting stadium, basically massacred everybody, and Ambrose actually excommunicated him and said, "You are forbidden from stepping foot in a church until you do penance." And the emperor actually did it, shockingly enough.
Wow.
So, and the other, Ambrose also is famous for mentoring a little troublesome youth named Augustine, getting him to be a bishop, And my other story about Ambrose is he went from, he was not in the church at all. He was mayor of Milan. And the city was electing the bishop, and they were about to riot over their candidates. And somebody when he came in with the police to prevent the riot, somebody in the crowd shouted, "Ambrose for bishop. We like the mayor. Why not make him bishop?" Whole crowd agreed to it. So he went from unbaptized to bishop in 13 days.
Wow. So he had nothing to do with the church before that.
I wasn't even baptized. Unbaptized, it was a complete violation of all canon law.
Wow.
Yeah.
And yet he became...
And yet he became awesome, And then Monica sits on my wall. These are all the non-biblical figures, right? So like Monica, who is Augustine's mother, because Monica kind of bullied him into faith. I kind of appreciate that about Monica.
So you appreciate a bully.
I appreciate
as a role model.
I appreciate being nagged and persistently bothered into faith. Sometimes that's what it takes.
For the sake of my own safety, I'm not going to comment on the nagging part.
So I got other biblical figures and stories on there, but
those are the biggies.
Those are the biggies, right?
Cool. Well, it's about time to wrap up, and I just want to make sure no other questions. Kathy, Karen, Renee. Okay.
All right.
And I think I preserved myself by restraining commentary on the last part. One final question. Why are saints important in our modern lives?
I think it's important to know that the church is not just the now, but is also the past, right? That we are, the word Catholic sometimes gets translated as universal, but it has this time dimension to it in its original meaning, right? So it's not just like universal in the present, but universal
through time,
both from the foundation of the church at Pentecost to the end of all things when Christ comes again. The church is united in this great procession that stretches through all time and space. And I think it's helpful to know that it's not just us doing it now, but it's sustained by those of ages past. And I do think, it is good to know, it is good to have models for your faith, and Paul talks about this all the time. He says, imitate me, this Christian life is hard if you don't have a form, and so these people help give us forms, to pattern ourselves. It's not just inspiration, but it's like, how do I actually do this? Well,
here's how Saint,
or more modern ones, right? Here's how Mother Teresa did this Christianity business in the modern world. Here's how Oscar Romero did this Christianity business in the modern world, right? You know, I mean, on our calendar, Martin Luther King is also there, right? You know, and here's how in the modern world we, you know, this, you pattern your life following Jesus, you know, and it's not just, you know, and it becomes a little easier every day if you have that to help you.
Excellent.
So,
Perfect note to end on.
Yep. So, thank you, folks. We'll be back next week.
Use that template this week.
Yep.
Pick a template and use
Pick
it
a
this week.
template. Use it. Yep.
And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Yep.
They're going to be like police squad. We'll just freeze until they